Peace and love, family. I'm Chairman Fahiem, New York, Cleveland. I'm here chilling with the family, the creative mindset. All power to the people.
Welcome back to another episode of the Creative Mindset. Today we got a very special guest. Yes, you already know what it is. This very special guest right here, man, is a creator for the people, a creator for the community. He creates purpose, he creates safety, he creates resource. This is a very unique individual, the most unique individual that we've had, I could say, because in the way that he creates and what he's creating for the people in our community, our people in the culture. Creative Mindset family, welcome, Chairman Fahiem.
Hey.
Peace, brother. Peace, brother. Thank you for coming on.
Peace.
Appreciate you for coming.
I appreciate y'all, bro. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, sir.
For sure.
Yes, sir. Man, you're a very admirable guy. I haven't known about you long, but when I met you at the Transitioning from a King event, the panel that you and Donnie had spoke at, what's funny is like when you were speaking, and even with the young dudes that you was talking to, I put myself in their shoes because I remember I had to go to something like that at a church growing up, and guys like you are like real powerful for young guys who are actually paying attention and need that leadership in their life.
Yeah.
And you know, even if they didn't stay on the path, what you say, hey, you need to do this and pay attention to it, it's still something that's implanted in their subconscious to where whatever the next unsettling situation they get in or when they come around trouble, your voice will resonate and something that you said will stick to help provoke another thought to be better.
That's powerful. Yeah. You know, and it's really a blessing to have influence to provoke a different behavior. Yeah, it's powerful. We think about like habits and the way that we navigate throughout life with these habits, and we don't care about how they impact other people, especially the kids around us that's always watching and that's always listening. I don't take those moments for granted. And so I always try to impart some wisdom to them. And, you know, especially coming from someone that looks like us, that they really resonate with, that oftentimes is telling them the opposite of what we're pushing. Yeah, I don't take those moments for granted at all.
Being a father, I've learned, kids learn by what you do, not by what you say. Simple.
Yeah.
It's literally simple. Even just with me having two young girls and interacting with other kids in the daycare setting, in the school setting, some behaviors I got to check when they come home because it's like, hey, where you learn? I always say, where you learn it? My daughter's like, why you always ask me that? Where you learn that from? Who taught you that? Why do you like that? What makes you think that's okay? So what you're doing is really, really important. And for those who don't know, and even educate me because that's something that we didn't get into, but I want to know what motivated you to do this and how did you get into this?
Yeah, for me, it really was just the need in the neighborhood. And to be honest, like when I started organizing the plan, this wasn't a part of the goal. I just started with a need to feed people in my neighborhood. I just started with a need to provide programs for kids at a juvenile detention center I was working at. I just started with a need to bring like yoga and meditation to a space in my neighborhood that it didn't exist prior to, but because I was doing yoga therapy and meditation, and so I was like, man, the things that I'm learning being in this space, the person that I'm growing to become in this space, I want to provide that to people in my neighborhood that I got to interact with. Kids that's being exposed to the same things that I was. If I would have learned these tactics at a younger age, I just think about the impact it would have had on my life and where I would be right now. Not shunning where I'm at right now in life, but how much further I would have been, how much healed I would have been, that process. So yeah, we do everything, bro. Whatever, you know, is needed, whatever is required to stabilize our communities or a person that needed help, we adapt our services to that. So Monday it could be a missing kid. Tuesday it could be food, resources being distributed. Throughout the week it's youth programming. It may be going out finding a missing child. You know, it's whatever is required. If it's within our capabilities, we're gonna do it.
So we go into the mantra that I heard: anything and everything at any given moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that philosophy that you or ideology that you live by, I feel like that is how you engage the community. It's almost like you taking a pulse of the community.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you engage and you initiate, because how I came to know you, I was warned about New Era Cleveland. Like, hey, I swear, I was warned. This is a couple years back when you started to initiate the patrols Othway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you started to do that, it was like I know you down with the. I was like, yeah, I just learned about him. It was like, they're a little extreme, and I was just like, well, let me learn about the brother, and we've called each other at different convenience through New Voices and things of that nature. What with you being just present for anything that could possibly happen, like what initiated the night patrols?
Yeah. The night patrol started really with a thought to challenge culture, a thought to challenge things that conditions that we accept in our neighborhood. That's what sparked the thought of let's go out at night, let's show active presence in the neighborhood, let's build relationships, let's set a safe environment or the culture of a safe environment so kids can play football at night. Grandma and them can sit on their porch and talk, and there's no threat of a drive-by shooting. Walking through the neighborhoods, man, and we door-to-door engagement. That is our the foundation that our movement stands on is getting to the doors of the people, figuring out what's going on in the neighborhood, what have they endured, what do they need, what skills do they possess. And so I'm going to these houses and I'm seeing the houses with bullets. She's like, yeah, they were aiming at this house next door to me, but my house got sprayed up. My grandbaby's inside. So I'm like, how do we establish a culture in which like that's not acceptable? And for me, more so than just talking about it or pushing a street code, I'm gonna get out in the neighborhood and I'm gonna go to these businesses. I'm gonna establish safe spaces for customers. I'm gonna get out in the neighborhood, talk to the boys that's posted on the block that's trapping or the car meetups, and just build relationships. We ain't share. We not. Our objective is not to scare anybody away from the premises. We're not here to protect the business, but we here to build a rapport. What's good, bro? How you feeling today? Y'all good? And after 3, 4, 5 weeks, seeing you consistently, like, no, yeah, bro, actually cool. Yeah, we gon' Or so when we show up now, they vacate the premises, not out of threat, but out of respect for the message that we push in of what's allowed in the neighborhood.
So what were some of the steps to take? Because sometimes with the youth and people who get comfortable and what they do, you get pushback. And it might start like, I don't do anything, you know what I mean? And then after, like you said, after about 5 weeks, that respect came. But how did you handle that adversity?
I'm the type, anytime I face adversity or a challenge or someone trying to deter me, my response has been the same. I stand up. Because people that take that sort of stance against us never anticipate for me to stand back and be like, nah, we not budging. So you're not willing to take it as far as I'm willing to go. That's how much I believe in what I'm doing. And so when people realize that with me, like we shutting down a gas station, somebody come up to me, this is about an hour and a half into the gas station shutdown on Buckeye, and the guy's like, all right, I think we proved our point. Like, they're not getting any customers in here. We proved our point. How long is this going to go on? Until the lights are off, until they're closed. That's how far we have to be willing to take it. And once I take that stance, I'm like, yeah, nah. And ultimately, the message is universal. Like the principles we stand on, should no kids be getting killed. No parks, no drive-by shootings near parks. Our young girls shouldn't be sex trafficked. All these principles, like the hardest homeboy be like, yeah, no, that's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, hey, y'all tripping. Like what he's saying is really real. So that's how we get buy-in from them guys as well. Like, you got a little sister? How would you feel if your 10-year-old little sister was being sex trafficked in this neighborhood like the rest of these young girls? You gotta treat them the same. Yeah, no, we're not going for that. And so it's like consciousness. Once you are aware of an ailment or a disease, now we can work on like the medicine.
Another thing that I admire that you do is providing resources that I had seen on the internet at the clubhouse. And it's kind of funny seeing that because I remember at a point in time, and I want to know if you remember this. I remember when I was a kid, like I went to Captain Arthur Roth for like elementary school. And I remember at a point in time, I used to give away shoes. for kids who ain't had shoes, hats and gloves.
Yeah.
If you ain't have smoke detectors in your cribs, because people used to lose their house to fires a lot, they give away smoke. Do you remember when schools gave away smoke detectors?
Absolutely.
And when I talk to people about this, do you remember when schools gave away smoke detectors? They don't even remember this.
Yeah.
So when I got to Patrick Henry, as kids are going through puberty, they was giving the young guys condoms. They was giving the young girls the sanitary napkins and deodorant and stuff like that, and the acne face cleanser and stuff like that. And it's like, since the schools is not doing it, and you know what's the need for our people that you provide, and that's very admirable.
Yeah, absolutely. The difference between a young boy stealing a car and robbing somebody may be a fresh pair of shoes, a haircut, damn, a new pair of pants. And just to see how that elevates their self-esteem, boosts their morale, their self-confidence in the way they view themselves. Because most people that aren't consciously aware of who they are view themselves through the lens and perceptions of other people. And their perspective of the world is shaped and molded by that. And so in those interactions, man, we building them up like, what you're wearing right now, yes, it's trendy, this is the newest whatever, but this don't make you. You can have on the opposite of this and still be exactly who you are. And so that's really like the main thing that I want them to take away from those interactions where they are getting the resource. That's just the bait. But the interaction or the experience is really what the intentions are.
Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say, it's funny that you said that because that's the only reason kind of I went to college. In my homeroom in high school, it was a sign on the wall that said, 30 years from now, it's not gonna matter the clothes that you wear or the shoes that you have.
Yeah.
And I was one of them people that always had the shoes and had the clothes. And I was like, I don't want to be a loser. Basically, I don't want to be a loser.
Yeah, and I like what I like. You know? Yeah.
Definitely feel like when you say it that way, when you initiate engagement with the youth, you in a constant state of, let me first engage and meet you where you are, but I'm already ready to deprogram your way of thinking. I seen, the intricate way that you start the process, and we were speaking about it off camera, is doing the sound baths and making the quiet, like you said, the buzzword, the hot word in mental health is safe spaces for a reason, because you have to instill trust with an individual for them to even be open with themselves, to be open with you about themselves. So they got to do that introspection first. Talk about how you get children comfortable with just being children, because a lot of them are carrying these adult problems.
That's facts.
And you introducing back the child, like
the village. This is your role, this is your place. And then we build together. And teaching them that there's value, even though they are a child. Because a part of why, like, most of the kids don't want to be kids is because they don't feel like I have any authority or space or power to create or control anything. So I'm gonna match energy. Mom, dad, pops, whoever, grandma, whoever it is that's raising them. So, establishing trust, creating that safe space for them to tell you the things that are truly bothering them, and that is producing the behavior that we see. We talk about the adverse childhood experiences, and most of our kids hit all the markers, all 9 of those. Our kids hit 8, 9, like consistently. And so that speaks to a bigger issue that we have in our communities, especially when it comes to our young girls. Young boys with sexual trauma, yes, but our young girls in our communities, for sure. And so creating an opportunity for them to kind of go through that process, meet whatever that issue is or barrier that they're grieving, and actually go through the process of letting that thing go, right? And not letting it go to where it never happened, but what are we doing now to move forward? How are we gonna build you up and put these pieces back together? And we do that through discovering your purpose. So that part is probably the most impactful part, the most significant part than anything else that we teach them. That's more significant than Black history, healing their personal trauma.
Yeah, because you're not going to be perceptible to anything else until your needs are addressed first. And been doing civic engagement and engaging with the community, especially during COVID and post-COVID, I couldn't talk to people about what was going on in local politics without addressing the fact that you couldn't put Pampers and wipes in your house. I had to go to I went to 100 homes delivering hygiene items.
That's powerful. Yeah.
You know, and it was a concept that was built on let me meet people where they are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is my other question, just to follow up on that. A lot of times, the people that is doing the work in the community do not get the help that they need. You have been an awesome collaborator with the people that support you, but the main people that you think would support you, CPD, CMHA, when you do these open carry patrols, for you being wrongfully arrested, you know what I'm saying?
Multiple times.
And shout out, let's say on the upside, you receiving the grant that you did. I feel like that was just that was just perseverance and God's favor. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Letting you know you doing the right thing. Just speak to that. You know, how did you keep yourself mentally fortified to just keep doing what you're doing selflessly and righteously?
When you know that what you are truly doing sits on the mount of righteousness, the only thing that comes into question is your faith. Do you really believe in what you say you do? And if you do, then everything else is to be expected. You know, and so it sounds good.
It sounds good.
Until you sitting in jail and you hearing that your bond been doubled. Yeah, and you got 5, 6 felony charges with gun specs attached to them. It sounds good saying like, yeah, what I did was in righteousness. The principles I operate on are righteous, but at that time, it's a lot. And you go through this process of like self-realization. Like, damn, and what I'm about to sacrifice worth it? You know, my freedom, reputation, opportunities, my family, if jail is a reality from any situations. And so all that comes into perspective, bro. But sitting in jail, I'm gonna be honest, like I used that time so intentionally because I knew I was getting bonded out. I knew I was gonna not be in there long. And so I fasted. I used that as an opportunity really to just get closer to our creator. You know, I say people go to jail to find God and whatnot. I tested that for sure. But then the support from the community is the part that trumps, I'm gonna be honest, everything for me that make me even.
Free Fahiem was everywhere, bro.
Everywhere. My bond was paid anonymously by some guy I don't even know from the Palestinian community. My bond was $80,000, and the brother paid it. Never met him, never shook his hand. You know, my attorneys, everybody like literally rushed to support, and it wasn't a question of what do I have to compensate these people. So, yeah, it's always that for me. That'd be like, yeah, stand on it, and you covered.
For sure.
Just being a good steward of what you're given.
Yeah.
So that allows you to be blessed tenfold. With that being said, it's kind of like piggybacking off Donnie's question. How do you even feel about the fact that the people who are supposed to be supporting you is not supporting you? Because I think that's odd that the guys, like you said, the guys that, hey, yo, you can't do this. They respect it immediately, but then you won't get that same respect from security, law enforcement, politicians.
It's like the influence and the power is a threat, right? Public safety, a lot of money is siphoned into public safety in the United States just in general. Over 50% of the city of Cleveland's public annual budget goes to public safety. And so if we're proving violence prevention and intervention to be an effective method, then now we have to have a conversation of why X amount of dollars is being allocated here and not here, and how can we redirect some of those fundings, some of that funding to where the data is proven to be the most impactful. And so it's a direct threat, the work we're doing, to these systems that benefit off of our self-destruction. Prison, schools, the police, law enforcement, $26 million in police overtime in 1 year. That's an insane amount of money. You know what we could do with $20 million of that?
And this is where it gets sketchy because you've accomplished more with
Much
10
less.
to 15 man patrols
Yeah.
than Yeah, I ain't got to say the
Yeah,
rest. You already know.
yeah.
So
It's relationships.
I was about to say, it's also respect though,
Yeah,
because you're coming through respectful as
Come on.
police walking around poking their chests out.
Come on.
Like, telling me not to do something is gonna make me go do it. Just because you telling me not to go do it.
We pulling up in the U-Haul with trucks for all the kids in the neighborhood. We ice cream, rent out the ice cream truck for the day, bounce houses. Like, we really coming through and we showing love. And some of them saying, they mom calling like, listen, my lights is off. We need some support. Or he wilding out. He done already committed to this lifestyle, but he got a little brother that's following after him. He needs support. And so through those interactions, it's like, people know, like, man, they really out here out of love. But when the time comes and we have to respond accordingly, we are doing that. And it's perceived and it's welcome because people are like, you out of line. Well, you smoking dope at the park and they done responded to you, it's justified.
yeah.
Yeah. You allowing kids to have car meetups on your property and they shooting and killing each other? Yeah. The response from the community is justified. Like, you shouldn't have a business here. Yeah.
So at the Creative Mindset, we like to talk about mental health.
Yeah.
And that's like the big difference about what we do when we speak to creators. And it's like, you do a lot of pouring. Besides God, what do you do to keep your cup full?
Yeah, my family, my queen for sure. If I'm speaking for any strong black man that has had to deal with adversity, having a strong queen and family by your side, that, like, when everything was happening, my queen was the one that was like, no, you stand up. Period. Poke your chest out. You said that, and this is what comes with it. Now we're moving forward. So to not be scrutinized or criticized by because some people around me were like, man, listen, you went too far. Yeah, like, look what you're about to jeopardize. And my queen was like, they don't ignore all of them. God gave you a mission. See it through. And we got you covered. Yeah, that was that extra covering of armor to go outside and be like, yeah. So it doesn't matter what the opposition is. We challenge it. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It was basically, man, God gave me a purpose, and my woman, my queen.
Yeah, my queen.
And
them kids at our youth program, seeing some of them transform and seeing what they are producing as well as creatives, whether it's music, art, fashion. Seeing a lot of my kids grow and develop is the part that is, like, even more so encouraging than anything.
if you want to change the future, they say change the kids.
Period.
You can't change any adults.
Yeah.
So what are some of, because it was what keeps your cup full, but what are some of your self-care practices to keep you right? Because your lady is basically holding you down, but what do you do for self? Because again, you're doing so much for everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people.
It is.
It's not like a 10 family, like a 10 family extended family, a 5-person household. You're providing for thousands.
Yeah. What else? I love scooters, bikes, like electric bikes, scooters. And so I find peace in that. I love traveling. So those are things that fill my cup up. And that's what my family, if we traveling somewhere, I want the full experience.
Right.
So I want to go rooftop, wherever we're going, to really enjoy ourselves and see the city. Art, murals. I'm big on murals. Like, any city I touch down in, where the murals at? Let me go see Graffiti Alley in Baltimore, or I forgot the name of the spot in Charlotte, but I'm going to see where the artwork is.
Okay. That's dope. That's important.
I wanted to ask you something just about your programming. What is the overarching goal that you envision for your programming, and how do you want to extend it beyond, the limits of Cleveland?
Absolutely. So, long term, like, sustainability for me is the key to success. The true measurement of greatness is, like, for me, how long can you be great at a thing?
Yeah.
Is that thing developing and growing? The people impacted by that program, are they growing and developing? And so Right now, actually, at this very moment, one of my kids, well, he's a grown man now, that graduated from my first class, rites of passage. This young man graduated 2.5 years ago. He's now leading the after-school program at our clubhouse. So he's the facilitator. So for me to see that now, same curriculum I was teaching him, he has shaped and molded it, and now is teaching that to another group of kids. It's so powerful. Yeah, for me, the overarching goal is like, can we stabilize a community? And what does that look like? Can we have a community where people not smoking dope out in the public at least? Kids not getting killed. You know, that's not a real thing. Everybody's immediate needs are met. Food, so on and so forth.
I feel like you are not saying that you want everybody to be like you, but I feel like the fatherly presence that you bring to a community, because that's what it is. You're the community's father.
Yeah.
A lot of people, older women are looking at you like, I know you feel it, bro. Like the grandmas even looking at you like you their son. You see what I'm saying?
Love.
You present a masculine energy that's needed in the community.
Absolutely.
And you're trying to, at least from what I perceive with your programming, you raising these young boys up to emulate some of your efforts, but put their own niche into it.
Yeah. You think about, I mean, for a lot of us, that's what manhood was trial and error, and we're modeling someone. Like if we see how the older way dude dressed, you could be a young boy, 7, 8 years old, but you know, dude Flato, like he grown, whatever, he got a nice car, nice girl. You like, all right, I like my senses resonate visually with what I'm seeing, and now the question begins to evolve to what did he do to get to that moment? You know, how did he gain his resources? And so deprogramming that process. I lost track of your question too.
I didn't even get to it because I'm just like I'm feeding off of you as you're speaking, and I'm just like you are creating. Your work is going to surpass your livelihood. You know what I'm saying? Like your lifespan, because the lives that you affect are going. It's kind of like Clarence X with being a 5%er. 5%er derived from the Nation of Islam, but Clarence X was a derivative from Elijah Muhammad's, an honorable Elijah Muhammad's son. So Clarence X went to New York and started teaching the 5%er way. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that. It's like you are creating all these different variants of yourself in these children, and they are going to start, and they're going to start doing their own programming. That's why I was like, what is the long-term goal of expansion? Because I can see it being nationwide.
Absolutely.
That's why I told him I was going to use the code acronym BPP, because that's what I see, you know what I'm saying? It has that structure. You just not teaching them how to fight and how to shoot.
Oh yeah, that too.
But it's giving real big BPP, man. And
absolutely.
By sustainability being an important thing, I just want to know, like, how do you see yourself going to other neighborhoods? Because again, like, quality is more important than quantity, but you also need those numbers to be where you can't be. You know what I mean? And just off the top of my head, I was like, man, that'd be dope to get in the rec centers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's a rec center in every neighborhood.
Yeah, we started going that route initially, and what we faced in the rec centers was not necessarily agreeance with what we were teaching the kids. Like when you're empowering them and they're challenging systems and the way of thinking, you can get a 12-year-old that may have a more mature ability to critically think than the 50-year-old lady that's actually running the rec. So now he challenging her when she say, don't do this. He like, hold on. Your job is, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, this is what I'm doing. So when the message is super black, man, it's a lot of tactics that are used to water that down. Like some people feel like we shouldn't be teaching the kids like black empowerment where we are in today's society. Like I had a brother say before, like, man, they Americans. You need to be teaching them American history. You know?
I think this is American history, right?
You know? Yeah.
That's crazy. I never thought I'd hear somebody black saying it like that.
We're going to just disconnect from everything that our ancestors experienced. Like, that greatness lives within our DNA. Nah, man, you tripping.
Dude, I don't know. Just I don't know, bro. We got backpedal. So when he said American history, did you ask like, what about American history, or just you just let him
It
be
was
where
in
he was at?
passing. Yeah,
Because
keep going, bro.
I ain't even go
This,
fake, bro. I'm
yeah.
like what? Like the American Revolution?
Man,
Like
which
how?
part of American history do you want these babies to really learn?
You great and not engaging frivolous
I,
nonsense, bro. I've seen it
man,
in
I
live time. I
can't,
was like, this
bro.
man is not engaged. He will
I
laugh and
can't.
be like,
Yeah,
oh, okay. And keep it
yeah.
moving. It bring me to thinking like when you dealing, we talked about it off camera, man. When
Yeah.
you dealing with the children and you dealing with the community, I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of the conversations that you having is taking more place with the adults than it is the kids. Because you trying to figure out why do y'all keep picking on these kids when they coming from you?
Yeah, that part.
So have you thought about,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure you've done classes and convenience with the parents and things of that nature, but have you thought about just designating real programming for the adults to do the same deprogramming that you're doing with the kids, so you can hit it at the root instead of the branches?
That part. We absolutely incorporate that in our current programming. The families are involved in the young men and women's rites of passage. So there's a safe space for them to talk, work through problems, build a real rapport, like, and get to know your kid. Once I took the stance of being my daughter's friend, you know, that's shunned upon the black neighborhood. Like, the first thing parents say to you when they feel disrespected is, I'm not one of your friends. That's the problem. Like, we don't have a friendship established, so you don't truly know who I am. And so we push that a lot. Healing these moms. We got a lot of single black mothers raising young men. And so the names that young men are called before noon, you know, you can be called little nigga or little this, little that. The music is telling you you're this, you're that. TV or social media influence is telling you you're this, you're that. And so we try to definitely impact the environment that the kid growing up in at home. Cause you heal him and then you send him back and he getting dogged out at the house.
For
He
bringing
come in,
something positive.
come on. And he come in every day with an attitude, but throughout the course of the day, he's healing. And then at the end of the program, he's like, damn, I gotta go back home to the same thing that's traumatizing me. And so no, we definitely bring the families in and start to heal that family trauma.
It's like social work.
Man.
Like I said, with the children, it's a whole lot easier to change your perspective. You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah.
And they're set in their ways.
Yeah.
Like I kind of tell people a lot of times, our parents ain't too many generations far from slavery.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
That institutional programming. Like I remember my first time going to a county jail. County jail looked just like a public school.
Yeah.
And then the relationships between the guards and the inmates are like the teacher principal. I mean teacher student or the principal student relationship, and they use the same rhetoric when they're being rewarded for good behavior or when the person stay out of trouble. I'm being good.
Yeah.
It's all a program, bro. And again, it's easier to talk to the children, to be transparent with them rather than just somebody setting their ways on having a problem. When you come across people who have a problem with something but don't know how to solve the problem, just be dismissive and complain about the problem.
Yeah.
With us being aware of those things, what was the biggest thing that you seen from that you had to change?
In regards to what specifically now?
Just the programming of, because you have to do a lot of unprogramming for people's personalized situation, but on a grander scale, because those you focus on the micro, but the macro is what I'm asking about, because it's even bigger than that. But
healing. A lot of healing has to take place, and we watched the Khalif Browder story with our kids.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. That was crazy.
To sit down and watch it and then talk through it with them, so to ensure that they're comprehending and to get their feedback, it changed their perspective on like their task in regards to what they're challenged to do moving forward, and to not get caught up in their traps that are intentionally placed. That's when we saw a bigger commitment from our kids and from the parents, because we want y'all present too. We watch the witness testimony for the mother of 14-year-old Marlo Tover. Got killed in Euclid. The mother had lost three this was her fourth son to gun violence in like 3 or 4 years.
Oh my God.
Young boy got killed on a bike, and he wasn't even the guy they was looking for. They just couldn't find that guy and saw the kid on the bike. He was killed by a 17 and 18-year-old, 2 football players with full rides to college. And we watched that with them and their families, and to see the way that like mothers like loved and embraced their babies after that, you know, something about a mother's pain that other mothers connect with on a spiritual level could provoke like someone that doesn't even have like that true love or rapport for their child. It would make them like, I don't know, the appreciation is different now. This woman lost all her sons to gun violence, and I got my kid right here.
That's when they be like, every mother ain't maternal.
Yeah.
It's because they get put in that masculine, fatherly role.
Yeah.
They forget that maternal instinct. And I always say the bond with a mother and a child is different because they incubate the child for 9 months.
Yeah.
That detachment is different
That's the
than
worst
it is
thing,
for a father. I do truly believe we become fathers once we see the child.
Yeah. Yeah.
We be trying, but it really don't resonate until we see our kid, man.
Yeah.
So tomorrow you got something big going on. I seen it on Austria's page. It's a back call out to the neighborhood. Talk about that.
Yeah, so we starting back off with our patrols. We haven't done these since August, so it's been a few months. And really, it's just again that presence in the neighborhood, building relationships with businesses that are opening in our neighborhoods, especially on late nights. Creating these safe spaces, so in the event that anyone is experiencing a crisis, they can come here and get help and support. Doors won't be locked in their faces. If she need to charge her phone so she can call a Lyft or Uber, you know, you're going to grant her that access to that resource to get that done. And so, this is the bat signal out to the neighborhood to come on out and join us. I'm very much so looking forward to it. We got some legal issues that we're dealing with right now, but once that clears up, we'll be back outside in full capacity, meaning with our firearms. And it's so powerful to walk through the neighborhood with those firearms and for people to feel like inspired in a way in which they like, I can take up arms and I can protect my own household, my own neighborhood.
It's an open carry state.
It's an open carry state.
Like Texas.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of our people have that plantation mentality like, well, it's legal, but boss, can I do it too?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, until they see somebody exercise it.
Yeah.
Like, unprovoked. I'm not doing this because the police officer shot somebody. I'm doing this because it's Friday night and I know how active you get in this neighborhood.
And you be up and down the hood I grew up in. That's why I respect it more than anything.
Yeah.
Kingsman area, Buckeye, Mount Pleasant, Union. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's why I used to run around. So put on full battle round body armor. Bro, I've literally drove around. I was like, oh, I see bro out. You know what I mean? So when I seen it, I was like, man, if I ain't had no case where I couldn't carry a gun, I'd have been right out there with you. You feel me?
Yeah.
That's really inspiring, and I want to applaud that, being the presence and doing that. And I hope that it inspires more people to do the same thing and to join the movement if they have some time within the time frame that the patrols are going on.
Yeah, make time.
It's like, like I've been wanting to ask this question. I should have asked it off camera. But I'm trying to get the view of what the city is looking at. Are they looking at it like you a vigilante, or is it like no, seriously, dude? Because it's like I don't understand what the problem besides the business of it.
Yeah.
Because when you mention them dollars,
that's problematic. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's basically taking you know.
Absolutely.
But as far as like, I don't understand why I can't patrol.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I'm not. What is the word? I'm not posing as an officer.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be something. No, I'm not trying to be a authority figure. I just want to let people know, not around here.
You can't sell dope to no kids over here. You can't prostitute no young girls over here. You can't shoot up no house with no babies inside it over here. And I'm not quite sure what about that message bothers the establishment so much. But other than the fact that, again, someone having influence and power within the community, is problematic. And so movements historically have been destabilized. Every movement. And I look at like our parents' generation, really that generation and the one before them dropped the ball in regards to black leadership, developing solid, vetted, credible black leadership. because we grew up without that modelship. And so we're looking back to movements in the 60s and 70s, and we're drawing energy and inspiration from that period of time where it was like black was beautiful, black was excellent, black was powerful, black was love, black was all of these things that you wanted to be connected with. Not now. Everybody want to be a nigga. And that's not even really clear defined other than a crash out, because it's like, what make you a real nigga? You kill somebody?
I just heard my OG said, "Don't call me a real nigga," because y'all definition of real ain't my definition of real no more.
That part.
When you speaking on that, I just challenge people to think about, what do you define a neighborhood watch as?
Yeah.
Because as far as I'm concerned, that hit all of the criteria of a neighborhood watch, right?
Yeah.
So
you know, it's a nasty, when you think of neighborhood watch, they think about a Karen.
Somebody looking out the window,
out the
and
window.
that's not that.
No, this is, again, it's shifting the culture in our neighborhoods. It's setting a precedent or a code of ethics that, especially for the black men, like, we have to, at minimum, you outside anyways, it's 25 of y'all posted up at a house drinking, kicking it. Be vigilant while y'all out there, though. I ain't saying you need to walk through the neighborhood and do a patrol, but if you see cars flying up and down the street and there's kids in the neighborhood, tell them slow down. Black men naturally have to begin to take back that level of presence in our neighborhood. And some of the senseless stuff we'll see, like, just kind of go away at minimum.
I think it really, the detachment from engaging with the community is just, it's a bevy of things. I think it's a contrast between having and not having an actual stake in the community, such as home ownership.
Yeah.
Because you see a lot of the older black residents in neighborhoods, they own their homes, and the younger ones do not.
Yeah.
So that creates this diaspora of, they got and I don't. That's why I don't vote. I'm not engaged. It's a lot of those different things going on. And when you come in and you doing what you're doing, it's different. It's the same way when I was a kid, I was coming up, my uncle spent 10 years in the pen, but when he got out and he got his life together, he would stop his car in the middle of traffic to talk to a kid. And I always thought that was so weird, because my mama raised me to mind my business.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's definitely, it's a lot of trying to change the guard, but also trying to say, this is your home.
Yeah.
You got generations that live here, and you may not have no aspirations to leave, but what if the younger ones behind you want to? You got to give them an opportunity to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 1,000%.
Because you hear some young people say they don't got big homies.
Yeah.
And those big homies haven't instilled the principles that you may have learned or he have learned. And that's a tough situation right there, by you setting the example. This is the standard we should be living by, but then everybody being taught, mind your business.
Yeah.
And that's kind of contradicting. That's kind of tough. And then you got like the older people when we were kids who would stand up. Don't be standing in front of this house like this. Don't be breaking no bottles in front of my house. Get off my grass. After it got to a certain age, they got to a certain age, it was like, no, they crazy. I'm scared. And then you see the madness that's going on the news. So it's kind of like there's been a decline in those people and standing up.
Absolutely. I mean, and then look at some of the consequences. You say something to somebody now, they'll kill you, like, just off the strength of they got access to the firearm, which again is problematic in itself. But you know, that village mentality is what we have to get back to. And, you know, they OGs now is like Lil Durk, King Von, NBA Youngboy.
People they don't even know.
But people that have the level of notoriety or clout that they want. And so they emulate that. And I remember, you know, being a young kid too, and there's certain music I like to listen to, or a certain rapper or something, and we tried to emulate that artist to the clothes, to the language, the way we talk. We knew all the words to the song. And my pops was like, man, that shit trash. Like, that's garbage music. Like, you tripping, you know? But this is what I like. This is what everybody else probably like. And so I connected with that more so than anything. And it really speaks to, like, the power of not having any individuality, more so than anything. We're searching for something to connect with that would elevate us in any type of way, shape, or form, make us feel good about ourselves, or to raise us in the ranks of our peer group. And once we stop like seeking validation in other people and find validation in our processes, like that's really what I want to push. Like that's really what I'm teaching the kids. Like you find validation in knowing that you gave your best effort. Yeah, you're doing
That's
what
crazy
your
right
heart
there.
is tethered to, what you're passionate about. I don't care about what anybody thinks about it, how it look. Yeah, focus on that.
That's real, because seeking validation as even period, just even as a young black man,
Yeah.
called me a case just off the
Right.
strength of I didn't feel validated amongst my peers. I didn't have nobody there to say it's okay this to be you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though that sounds so cliche,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
go to school and all of that,
Yeah.
and they say be the change you want to
Yeah.
see, and
Yeah.
I didn't really know what that was until the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But it definitely is something that you just made me think about some things, man. I might want to write some of this down, because it's like that validation piece is big.
Yeah.
That is big. Letting them know that they are valued.
Every decision, especially as a child, every decision is tethered to, is this going to validate me amongst my peer group? And it
Yeah.
could be something that you put on. You want to make sure, like, all right, niggas, they finna flame me up because this look crazy. These pants too tight. Let me take them off. Or I don't like the way this hoodie look. Whatever it is, let me go talk to this girl because the homies is egging me up to go talk to her. Everything is about how we're perceived amongst that peer group. And once you find like a level of comfort, and you not like everybody has that one person around them or that they have access to that seems so unbothered by the environment. Like they just operating on their own frequency. Like they can walk in the midst of chaos and still be like cool, calm, and collective and work through a problem, or not be bothered at all. I want to get to that level of peace. Like
You gotta
I want
stop
to be
that,
that
bro.
person. Like all hell breaking
Man.
loose, and I'm like,
Still.
listen, step 1, step 2, step 3, and this is it's good. Like
That's real.
yeah.
So what does burnout look like for you?
Yeah, burnout. I'm gonna be honest, like I haven't gotten to that point yet. Even with all of the criminal cases, beefing in the organizing world, barriers put in place to stifle our progress, the chain of events that have happened, it's like there's always reassurance. Every time a door is closed, literally like there's some form of reassurance following up behind that. So I kind of get a little bit excited when I see shit going a certain way, and we stay steadfast in whatever that goal or objective is, because then the resources come. Like if we focus on just doing the work, we making decisions about events that we ain't even secure funding for yet. You know what I'm saying? Already rest assured that the funding is on the way. And every time every need is provided. That's why my faith is so unwavering, because I've never lacked in no situation. Like literally have never lacked. So yeah, I haven't felt burnout, bro.
So what are you most grateful
Yeah.
for?
I would say the journey, the process. I'm grateful for that, because it has gotten me to a point of comfort within myself that I don't think could have been curated under any other set of circumstances. It's like you go through something and you like, had I not went through that, I wouldn't have had this perspective or this level of confidence in this life experience, because I lived it. And so I find a lot of gratitude in that. The same things that people be like, damn, that look like, hey, that's a lot. That's heavy. I'm grateful, because it's like carrying whatever that boulder or obstacle was also helped me find out that I do have that level of strength. And it also conditioned me for whatever that next task or challenge may be.
Yes, sir.
And too, like whatever it is, I don't have to hold it long. You know, Pause.
I don't even feel like that was a pause. I feel like I got that immediately.
I'm around kids all day.
Yeah,
so
it's cool, but
anything you say, bro.
still, that was deep
That
though.
was on 1,000. That's all. He on 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. I be getting
Say I don't have to
philosophical.
hold the. I don't. God ain't gonna have
Yeah.
me hold this weight too long.
Yeah, but he just want to show you that you're capable of carrying it.
You can hold this.
You can hold this.
That's real.
But with my kids, I can say anything. Like, I'm about to go to the store. Hey, balls. Hey, you tripping, bro? Like, what? But yeah, man. Yeah.
That's peace. That's peace. So, what advice do you have for any young community leader, revolutionary that you have that's inspiring in the making? And you could even talk to the kids that are attending the programs that you have set in place. But I know we preach an individuality and peace. But what advice do you have for that kid that's looking at you and dream to do what you're doing?
I always tell my kids that life is not just happening around them, but it's responding to them. And so you exercise your dominion and your God-given dominion and authority, and like follow your heart. You always follow your heart. I have not been led astray. I might have been in some situations in which I learned a lesson, but those lessons were necessary for my own personal growth and development. And yeah, build a relationship with God, period. Like, that's my foundation. That's the foundation that I stand on. And so no obstacle like seems like insurmountable, too large of a challenge. Um, yeah. And too, like, for some people, it's not like what the criticism is. It may be who the person is that's criticizing them. I don't know if y'all got people close to y'all, but you're taking on a task or you want to do something great, and it be the people like in your immediate vicinity, your mom, dad, brother, sister, somebody, best friend that try to be like, they plant that seed of negativity, that seed of doubt. Get rid of those people and don't and be unapologetic about getting rid of them people. So that's my advice to folks. Yeah, clean house. Like, yeah.
And it may be easier said than done, but it has to be done if you want to be where you want to be, where you need to be.
I would say for the people that is around a courageous and prophetic leader, you have to be strong even when you weak watching them work.
Yeah.
Because they need you to believe even if you don't.
Yeah.
So if you don't have nothing positive to say, just pray.
Yeah.
Because they need you to be just as courageous for them because they're doing something that's life-changing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So for the people who are not following you, the people that are not familiar with you, how do they find you? What platforms can they find you? What's the website? Where can they access your resources? How can they contact you and your team?
Yeah, so our website is the Love Project Movement.icu. I believe it's ICYOU, ICU. My social media is Chairman_Fahiem. Our social media for our organization is New Era Cleveland, NEWERA Cleveland. And our community center is located at 11713 Buckeye Road, right in the heartbeat of the southeast side of Cleveland. So I'm always there at the clubhouse. People can pull up any time if they need to get connected to resources, if they need support with some issues. We always there.
And if you don't know where the clubhouse is, it's the man playing the trumpet.
Yeah.
On
Right
Buckeye.
across the street. Yep, can't miss us.
Not far from Checkers.
Yeah.
Chairman Fahiem, y'all.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate you for coming.
Appreciate you,
Yeah,
bro.
I appreciate y'all, brothers, man.
It was a pleasure, man.
Yeah,
This was great.
Absolutely. Thank you, bro.
This is great. Thank you,
Appreciate
man.
y'all, family. Yeah, and I want all the content after this. I own it. So send it to me.